Welcome back to Transfer Talk, and today, silly season, my god, it's in full swing. A confirmed deal that's happening right now. For the Belgian Grand Prix onwards, Pierre Gasly has been dropped from Red Bull. He moves back to Toro Rosso, and in his place comes Alexander Albon. The Thai driver, born in London, in his rookie season, is going to drive for Red Bull Racing. Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing, Honda. I mean, this is the kind of thing you see in a Formula 1 career mode on the Xbox game. This isn't the kind of thing you see in real life. And for a guy like Albon, who was, so close for falling through the cracks of the Formula 1 system, he was signed up to Formula E. He was signed up to drive for Nissan in Formula E for Season 5. Now he's driving for Red Bull Racing. What a crazy 6 months Alexander Albon has had. And as I just mentioned, for the rest of the season, from Spa onwards, so the next race onwards, he's going to be driving for Red Bull. But we're going to start this video with the man who's been dropped, Pierre Gasly. I'm not going to lie. Helmut Marko came out before the summer break and had said, Gasly hadn't had the best start to the year, but we're going to commit, we're going to keep him with the team for the rest of the year. Well, we now know that was all a load of rubbish. However, I am surprised that Gasly has been dropped. I mean, there's no denying it'd been a pretty awful season for Pierre Gasly. His best finish in Formula 1 in Red Bull is 4th. His best finish last season for Toro Rosso was also 4th. So currently, his best ever Formula 1 finish is in a Toro Rosso. I mean, that should not be happening when your car is the only other car rather than a Mercedes to win a race. Yes, it's piloted by Max Verstappen, but Gasly, all he had to do this season to keep his seat was consistently be 6th place. And that's something that consistently he's not done. At the beginning of the season, couldn't even get into Q3 in a Red Bull. And now, it seemed like he refound his mojo at Silverstone. Qualified P6 and was right up there for a good job. I mean, the whole entire race, pretty much with the 2 Ferraris and his teammate Verstappen. And it really felt that weekend that Gasly had turned over this new leaf and was going to be up there and fighting for the rest of the season. Well, sadly for Gasly, in both Germany and in Hungary, some difficult races, and far too many times this season, Pierre Gasly has finished behind McLaren drivers, including Carlos Sainz, who currently is just 5 points behind Pierre Gasly in the constructors' standings. There's no denying Gasly hadn't done enough, and there's no denying that Christian Horner and the Red Bull higher-ups, Helmut Marko, and the crew had a big decision on their hands. I feel they should have given him to the end of the season. I really do believe that Red Bull, yes, potentially with a switch, they might be able to snatch second in the championship in terms of constructors. With Verstappen doing an incredible job, changing his teammate, is that really going to make much difference? Not really. And if they make a swap, bringing Kvyat, bringing Albon, bringing any other driver, is that really going to make a fat lot of difference to the top 5 in the driver standings? I don't think so. So for me, it made sense to keep Gasly for the rest of the year and hope that eventually he can find this form and turn it into something like we saw in Silverstone. But, that being said, that was my initial reaction for sure. And definitely I was surprised that Alex Albon came in. But something that Jack Nicholls put out on Twitter that I thought was really clever and really smart is that 12 races is what Gasly has done in the Red Bull. And his progression has been slow, but there's not a fat lot of difference in his performances now compared to the beginning of the season. 12 races is the length of the Formula 2 season. It's also the length of the Formula E season. So that's practically a full season of racing in other categories. And you know what? If he just had these performances in the Formula E season, I would be ringing the bells saying he should be dropped. So I can understand why they've made the switch. They're thinking, right, we can bring in a young driver here, just get them started at the end of the year where the pressure's going to be off, and maybe, just maybe bring back in Gasly next season, or keep that driver next season. And that's exactly what I think they're doing with this Albon switch. And I will mention, I was stunned when I saw Alex Albon. I wasn't stunned when I saw Gasly was dropped, but when I saw that Alex was going to replace him and not Danny Kvyat, I was very surprised. Arguably slightly enraged at the beginning, and my opinion has since changed. But I want to explain that Danny Kvyat, I think, is a criminally underrated driver. He's been a driver this season that has had difficult qualifyings, but in the race has been on fire at times. In races like Spain, you don't necessarily see the things he's doing, although he did go around the outside of Raikkonen, I believe it was, at turn 3, which is an incredible move, but picking up points. A podium in a Toro Rosso for Danny Kvyat in Germany, an incredible drive. The reason I think he didn't get the seat was Helmut Marko. I'm convinced that Albon and Kvyat are very similarly rated drivers, and Kvyat has the experience, and I think would help the team out at this time more than Albon is going to. That being said, Helmut Marko, a very proud man, and I doubt very highly he would want to bite the bullet and bring back Kvyat into the team. So I can understand it from that point of view. Albon has done a very good job, considering he's only done 12 races in Formula 1, to be on the pace of Danny Kvyat. There's only going to be more to come, so I can see the logic behind that. I think what I'm nervy about, and even though this has had chance just to settle in a little bit and play on my mind, I'm still nervy that Albon won't get a chance, and I'm nervy that this is going to completely ruin Gasly's career. Because what we saw of Pierre last season, at times, was brilliant. And he's not been able to prove that in the Red Bull. Why is that? We don't really know. Was it the pressure's too much? Was it that he was just outperforming the car in certain races last year and he didn't actually do that good? Well, we're going to see that now as he goes back to Toro Rosso and Kvyat's going to be his teammate. But how is this going to affect Gasly? Is it going to be the same kind of thing that happened to Kvyat? I thoroughly believe they promoted Kvyat too early at the time. They then kicked him out and we saw the downward spiral he went on. Is Gasly going to do the same thing? And if the likes of Patricio O'Ward, I struggle with that one a little bit, if he comes into Formula 1 next year with Toro Rosso potentially, and he's incredible, are they just going to drop Albon at the drop of a hat? Don't forget, Alex Albon was dropped from the Red Bull programme before this season. They only brought him in because they desperately needed someone to fill that seat. So it's a really tricky situation. I just hope they give him a chance. And at the moment, the way they're just dropping drivers, spraying them around like bullets, it's a little bit scary. And I think this is a brave decision from Red Bull for sure, but it's also brave from Albon. And I'm just hoping, for his sakes, that he can, just for the rest of the season, hit the ground running and maybe, near the end of the year, potentially make a push for that 6th place. But I'm just a little bit nervous that a similar thing could happen with Albon that it did with Gasly, because I think Gasly last year was pretty awesome. Why it hasn't happened this year, we don't know, and a similar thing very well could happen with Albon, who, don't get me wrong, is doing brilliant, but people say Red Bull rushed in to take him on Pierre Gasly, who had done a season and a couple of races, so that must be about 24, 25 races under his belt before he moved to Red Bull. Albon has done 12. So let's just see. And I'm chuffed for him. I mean, when he was announced for Formula E, I thought that was brilliant. Brilliant. He really proved himself last year in Formula 2. Then when he got a chance with Toro Rosso, I thought, oh my God, this is an absolute steal from Toro Rosso. That's awesome news that he's not going to Formula E and he can prove himself in Formula 1. But I didn't think at the summer break I'd be sitting here saying he's going to be driving for Red Bull for the rest of the season. But of course, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. Later on this evening, I'll be live with Sean, the F1 Word, talking a little bit more about this transfer. Because of course, this is a huge, not only topic for today, but for the entire silly season in general. Because you would expect this is going to be the Red Bull lineup for next season confirmed. So what does that mean for other drivers like Bottas, Hulkenberg, even Gasly? Can Gasly now try and make a move out of the Red Bull program? And Kvyat, maybe he will think, well, that's my chances over at Red Bull. So it's really, really crazy. And I still think Red Bull are going to be kicking themselves for letting Carlos Sainz go. That's the big hit, the big thing here that they have missed out on, and a big misstep from the team. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you are new and you've got this far, then feel free to subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.